Hello again. How you doing, guys, gals, everybody? This is Eladio Fanfan. I'm here, still here. Just had a birthday pass, September 18th, 69. Alive to see another one, and that's all that mattered. I was grateful. Um, hey, I've been through a lot. I had a great childhood. Mom loved me very much. I knew my dad. Some memories, but hey, you know how that goes. Don't need to say. But for the most part, I was loved a lot by my mom, my grandmother. I had a beautiful family, and I had everything I needed to be nurtured and encouraged. All the affirmations I could ever receive. But somewhere along the line, I took a turn. I met some people, and you know how we are. You know how we are. I'm not saying it's you, but you know how we are. We doesn't take much for us to veer off to the left and start smoking cigarettes and cigarettes to weed and weed to whatever. And, goes on and on. So here I am. Like I say, still grateful to be alive, although my life could be in a much better position right now. But hey, I wake up every day and, I still got a few marbles upstairs to play with. So for the most part, I'm good. I'm 52 years old. I was born here in Michigan, Detroit, Mount Sinai to be exact. Hospital's closed now. I had three siblings, two brothers and a sister who were by a different father, same mother, but they were much older than me. When I was born, by the time I was 3, my niece was being born. So that tells you, they were much older than me. And my father was full-blooded Puerto Rican, my mother Native American, black and white. And so my two brothers and my sister, they were much of a darker complexion than me. And like I say, we grew up together, and hey, I love them. But one of my brothers, which I'll get into later, he had something happen to him, and my mother immediately had a nervous breakdown, and she flew to New York and left me here with my grandmother and my other brother and my sister, who were also, they were gone, grown, and moved out. It was just my grandmother and me. But anyway, long story short, that's about me. I lived in New York for about 8, 9 years. My mother sent for me after about 5 years of living with my grandmother. She sent for me, and the first thing we did when I touched down in New York, was go see Star Wars. The first time it was ever played in the theater in New York. It was awesome. But anyway, so that's a little bit about me. I was there to see the birth of hip hop in New York City. I heard Rapper's Delight, the first time it was ever played on the radio. Def Jam, the Fat Boys, first time it was ever played on FM 98 Kiss, 98.7 Kiss FM in New York. So anyway, here I am back in Detroit, and the demons started messing with me in New York, and some of those habits I came back with. Started snorting coke and everything, and then graduated, so on and so forth. But hey, that's just a little bit about me. Here I am. I'm here in Michigan, doing good, meeting some good people, meeting some bad people, you know. And hey, every day life goes on. They say a living dog is better than a dead lion. So as long as I keep waking up, I still got hope. I still got life. I'm homeless, on drugs, but I make it every day. God is good. But anyway, I'm here to tell some stories about some things I've witnessed in my life, and they're relevant. How you would say in season, and they're still relevant to this day. And you'd be surprised how little things change. As far as the hearts of people and the way things are going with the authorities, with us, with neighborhoods and people. Be surprised how it could be a long span of time, but it could be minutes as far as the change, and nothing has really changed. It could seem like, you ever heard the saying, like, it seemed like it was just yesterday? Oh yeah, it seems like it was just yesterday, with things that are still going on. Like, the newspaper that was read 60 years ago, you can find a lot of things similar today. Yeah, but anyway, okay, well, hey, I'm gonna just keep going. What they call I won't say freestyle, but I'm just pouring out my heart. Pouring out, going through the files. Man, and sharing, my experiences and my wisdom, things I've accumulated throughout life, both painful and good, both good and bad, because it just takes both. It takes sunshine and rain for the flower to grow, and the flower doesn't complain when it rains and doesn't complain when the sun shines because it needs them both. And I believe us as human beings, we don't like the pain, but the pain, depending on how it comes and what causes it, it actually makes us better. But I'm going to rewind a little bit, about my brother. I was very young. I was born in '69. I believe this happened in 1972, and he was killed by the Detroit police, the 11th precinct. At the time, the 11th precinct was on Davison, right there by Cleveland High School, Conant and Davison. Now they moved to Nevada, but yeah, they killed him, man, and in a way that was not necessary, completely unnecessary. My brother had his ways. He did his thing. I don't want to say he was a master criminal or whatever, but he was whatever he decided to do. He had the wits and the creativity to do it very well, and he just happened to choose, some illegal things, but the illegal things that he chose was never to hurt anyone, maybe financially, and it was and not even that because it was like the big three, not to tell too much, but he's going now, he found ways to infiltrate the car companies, security things, and put a big dent in their things, and at the time it was amazing, and I know this is to be true because my grandmother wouldn't lie about it. She said that the federal police, the feds, the FBI, and the some of the owners of the car company came to the house and said, "Hey, we know your son's doing this, blah, 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 blah. We don't care. We don't want to press charges. We want him to tell us how he did it." And I'm sorry, I'm not bragging. But that's fucking pretty intense. But anyway, they hated him. Of course, he said, "I have no idea what you're talking about. Get the fuck away from my door." And but they could never get him. They could never catch him. They could never find any way to get him. So I guess they just decided to, whenever they got a chance, they were gonna just erase him from the face of the earth. And at the time it was like what, 1972. So racism was still pretty, it was right shortly after the riots and stuff. So, it was a lot of tension there. It was a lot of tension there, racial tension, especially, not just racial, but the police and people, period. But Detroit has been predominantly an African-American city anyway. But, so one day he was at a bar, and somehow the police got wind of it, and so they were waiting for him when he was coming out the bar. And he was a little guy. He was small, like built like Prince, I was told. I was too young. I have a few memories of him, vague memories, but I remember him. One of them is actually him walking around the kitchen with a pistol, with no shirt on, and a pistol in the back, in the arch of his back. But anyway, oh man, it's really hurt. It really hurt my mom. But anyway, somehow the police got wind he was at this bar, and they've been wanting to get him for the longest. So, of course, they set it up. They're not going to go in the bar, but they're waiting outside. And he comes out, and I guess there's a tussle or so on and so forth. And somehow they get him in the car. But they have no intentions of taking him to jail. Flat out. And that's the truth. And so the bar was on Conant and Stockton. It was called the Keynote. I believe it is. I believe it's still called that to this day. It's been there for a long time. It's been many generations of people from that neighborhood, frequenting that bar. Kids that I know now that when I knew, they were like 20 years younger than me, and they got a little money. They actually purchased the bar. It's amazing, how familiar places and things. But anyway, yeah. So they got him. Somebody got him in the car. And they took him down to the train tracks, which is Jerome, going south on Conant. And it was a place called Sobo Cleaners. I can never forget it. It's called Sobo Cleaners. And that's where he died. That's where they found the body. So now this is the story that the police tell. They say that they handcuffed him, put him in the back of the car. While in the back of the car driving down, he somehow had a pistol and got the pistol out and shot one of the officers in the back of the head, and then was able to somehow put the handcuffs up front and get out of the police car and start running. And they caught up with him at Sobo Cleaters. And he got shot point blank range with a shotgun in his chest. I don't know. How does that sound to you? You know, I might even be wrong about the handcuff behind the back, but of course he was handcuffed inside a police car. You know, so you're telling me you didn't search him first to see if he had a pistol, knowing how much you want, bad you wanted him, and the type of person he was, and he somehow got shot one of the officers and then got out of the police car, which police cars only open from the outside in the back seat, and that's been that way since the beginning, since who knows when, man. But you know, they only open from the outside, and then he was able to run. And while in the process of him running, you said, "Hold on, but while he's running, let me stop and get the shotgun." You know, open the trunk, get the shotgun. So anyway, man, you know, just to show you and tell you how they are, you know, and that was like, what was this? That was 72, got 82, 92, 2002, 2002, almost 50 years ago. And, you know, that same mentality, that same blood, that same thought process is still out here. And not only that, they had actually called my mom's house and was harassing her and saying, "Hey, we finally got that nigga. You know, he's dead now." And he wouldn't let my mom have his stuff. He had a gold ring that she had bought for him, and it was, you know, they wouldn't let him have it, wouldn't let her have his stuff. And you know, it was just horrible. We had all the helicopters flying over the house and shining the light, and it was just bad, man. So, you know, Black Lives Matter, man. They've been mattering for a long time, bro. A long time, you know. But I have to say this, and I pray that I do not offend any of my people. You know, I'm Puerto Rican, Native American, and African American. So I'm all of it. My bloodline has been experiencing the ignorance of, you know, I don't want to just say white people. It's because it's not just them, man. It's not even the color. It's not even the race of people. It's just the mentality. You know, racism is a taught thing. Hate is a taught thing. No child is born hating. They're curious and loving, period. You know, they're taught that. Especially the first ones they learn from is their parents. You know, from emulation. They watch them. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, you know, but now, like I say, I hope this doesn't offend anyone, but I thought about it. You know, just, you don't hear anybody else saying Albanian lives matter. Chaldean lives matter. Chinese lives matter. You know, they don't have to say it because it's automatic. It's not something that has to be said, you know. And with us, African Americans, us, man, you know, whatever, African and white, you know, black and white mixed, Puerto Rican and black, whatever. It only takes one drop. But when our lives and our people matter to us first, it will not matter if it matters to anybody else, because it matters to us, you know. So you know, it wouldn't even have to be said, you know, to say Black Lives Matter, because once they matter to ourselves, once your life matters to me as your brother or as my sister or as my aunt or friend or just as a person, you know, it's automatic. You know, I can go real deep into this thing of why our lives don't matter to each other, but I maybe save that for another session or another time. But I will say this, and it's for anybody. It doesn't have to be African American, but I think every person of color, old enough to read and write, should read the William Lynch letter 3 times at least and write an essay about it. Seriously. Let me say it again. The William Lynch letter. Look it up. It's a short book. You know, if you can read pretty good, you can read it in 1 or 2 sittings, you know. but the William Lynch letter, and you'll see it would be shocking. Like I just mentioned about how over the time things really never really change. They really kind of a lot of things stay the same. You read that, and you check it out, and you see the things that were implemented, and done and set forth in those times back then. You'll see how they're still affecting us today. Yeah. So yeah, that's a story about my brother. So life goes on, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. I'm just telling the truth, brother. The brother told me I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm just, telling the truth, man. The truth, needs no alibi. Truth needs, no cheerleaders, man. The truth is just the truth. I love this saying. I say it all the time, man. I might have said it before on one of the other interviews, but Mavis Staples, she sings, I know a place, boom, boo-doo-doom, doo-doo-doom. There ain't nobody crying. Yeah. And it's called I'll Take You There. But I saw a little thing she was doing one day on Feed the Children. She was singing, and she told a story about how she said that what comes from the heart reaches the heart, you know. And so I love it. That's what the truth does, especially a hurtful truth. I got another little question I want to ask you guys, especially our family here in Detroit. Just something to think about. I don't know the exact numbers, the percentage, but hey, we make up, Americans make up maybe at least 80% of the city of Detroit. But how many businesses do we own? How many legitimate businesses? I'm not talking about titty bars, which I guess that's a legitimate business, but how many actual, establishments do we own? Like a gas station or anything, man, something besides a trap house, you know. But I guess we do what we have to do. But it's just something to think about. Just something to think about. And it's hard now because the Arabs and Chaldeans and so on and so Albanians, they have such a monopoly on it now, to where even the suppliers who supply the restaurants and everything they're all networking together. And man, they took care of their business. They had a lot of help. For 7 years they didn't have to pay taxes. But I knew them when they first came. That was 30 of them in one house on 7 Mile. Yeah, that was it. Yep. Yeah, like what was I saying? Yeah, like I know this is like the fourth generation, maybe the third generation of Albanians and Arabs and Chaldeans that have came over here and opened up businesses and did got a monopoly on it. And I'm not upset. How could I be? How could I be? We've been over here forever and don't have nothing. Although we do have a lot of more obstacles and hoops to jump through, not just physically, but, personally too, with the races and so on. But anyway, this is one thing I don't really care about. I do care if I don't care for, now they like I say, they used to be very humble and grateful to even be here and, to be able to open up businesses and so on and so forth and not have to pay taxes for 7 years. I mean, how cool is that, And then when after 6 years, you sell it to your cousin or your cousin from somewhere, they come by and they don't have to pay taxes for 7 years. Come on, man. I don't know if that was set up purposely just so we couldn't have anything. When I say we, I'm talking about black people, period. I'm talking about African Americans, just people who don't have anything. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm not racist at all. It is the heart of a person that makes them what they are. Assholes come in all colors, good people come in all colors, bad people come in all colors. It's the heart and the soul of a person that makes them what they are and who they are. So if you're a jerk, it has nothing to do with the color of your skin, and the color of your skin has nothing to do with you being closer to God, more closer to God than somebody else. You think that, man, boy, you please stop. But anyway, yeah, but enough about that. They got it, so they're doing what they do. But I'm gonna say one thing. There's a force. There's a force that the karma, call it what you want. You can't just get away with just doing things. Even it's not even a physical thing. It's a spiritual thing. But come on, man. You think you're just gonna get away with just all the things that you've done to nations of people. What? Worldwide? I mean, come on, man. What do you think? You're just going to hide? Your money's going to hide you? You know, I'm not going to start preaching, but, there's a book that says, man, people, you be so afraid you'll wish the mountains would fall on you. You pray that the mountains would fall on you and hide you from the things that are about to come, man. So, hey, just stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it. Even though most of you you're not that way, you're not like your ancestors were, but a lot of you are still reaping the benefits from their evil ways. But anyway, on to the next one. I did 2 prison sentences here in Michigan. My number is 324182. I did 51 months, which is 4 years, 8 months. And then like a knucklehead, I went out and did caught the exact same crime that I was on the run for parole for. Stupid. And charge it to my head, not my heart. It wasn't a career choice. I was messed up, man. I was messed up. I lost my mom. But anyway, that's no excuse. I wanted to get high, I got high and I did what I wanted to do in order to get the money for it. But that's no more. Thank God. I'm still here. I'm off parole and I'm good. But anyway, I did my last time at a place called Marquette Branch Prison, which is the level 1, or I would say the trustee of Marquette. Marquette, if you know Marquette is, it's a well-known, pretty rough level 5 max prison. Sent a lot of cuckoos there, people that just cannot be around other people. But I was in the other side. I was on the trustee, the people that kind of worked and cooked and did the work, maintained the running of the facility. But anyway, I had my parole in my pocket. Yes, I did, man. It was such a great feeling, but they were so overcrowded. It was shortly after Engler had left and Granholm came in and closed a lot of prisons, and big change came to the MDOC. It wasn't so much of it just, getting a flop or getting a continuance and not going on because you weren't on your bed when the officer went by. It wasn't no more of that foolishness. They were just taking advantage and enjoying a free ride of all this money up in the UP, coming to the UP because of these prisons. And of course, who is filling up the prisons? Young black men, and whites and everybody else too. But they were sending like cattle, man, sending us, catching cases in Detroit and sending them way up north. And just so these people that were used to be pig farmers and didn't have no money, now they're freaking corrections officers. They went from having nothing to making $35 an hour, to just sit on their ass and do a count with full benefits and just all. He changed their lives, which, I guess what you're supposed to do, for your people if you can, but not that way. But anyway, I had my parole, man. I was on my way home. My second prison sentence, I was really, really at peace. It may sound crazy, but I was more free in prison than I was out here. And out here, I'm spiritually kind of like in bondage. It's rough out here. And in prison, I'm physically locked up, but I'm spiritually free, at peace, man. I had such a good time. I was the best time I ever had with myself and God and the few friends that I made in there. And it was really awesome. But here I am. This is pretty funny. Let me hurry up. No, I don't want to rush, but hey, shut up. Excuse me. I'm going on and on. I'm human, man. I hope you're enjoying the truth. The truth. Let it just be what it is. Anyway, so here I am. I have my parole in my pocket, right? I got about 6 months before I go home. That's what I was trying to say. Why they all the change with everything. They were so overcrowded. They were trying to just kick people out the door. People that should have been home years ago, but weren't because of the monopoly and the bullshit that was going on. But here I am with a parole in my pocket, but I still got 6 months to go. And guess what? My roomie, he had a parole. He left. So I got a new bunkie, a new roommate coming in, right? I had my room to myself for about 2 days, which is pretty awesome if you're used to live with a man in a small space. But and so look, I'm asleep. Next thing I know, the door opens up, and in comes this damn near 7 foot, 300 something pound, jet black man with a patch on his eye and a scar going across his face sideways from the left side down across his nose, down his lip, down there to his neck. I'm talking he looked like a pirate without the beard, straight up monster, man. You know what I mean? And I'm saying to myself, oh Lord, this is my last test before I go home. You know, you put this. I mean, by the way he looked, which is the wrong way to judge anything, but I mean, it is what it is. The guy looked like a freaking man. He looked scary, dude, and he was big, and then not just that. When I got up, of course, I got up immediately and got up and got dressed as quick as I could and left the room to give him some space so he can get situated. He's coming in with his stuff. Get out the way. That's just a little nugget in case you ever have to go through that. Give a guy some space, man. He's getting his stuff situated. But anyway, so now here I am. He's kind of settled in, and now he's introducing himself. He said, "Hi, my name is Cleveland Coleman, man. What's going on?" I'm like, "All right, I'm Eladio Fanfan." I said, "Let him know immediately." I said, "I got a parole, and I'm on my way home pretty soon, and the room will be yours pretty soon." He said, "Oh, that's cool." So now he's not only big and scary. He's excessively friendly. He's like, "Hey, I got coffee, man. I'm gonna leave it on the desk. If you want some, you can have some. Say if you're hungry, you can go in my locker and just have it. Got some chili, like whatever you want, man." He just like, have whatever you want. Like, so whatever I got, mi casa, su casa. And he just moved in. And so now I'm like, I don't really talk to the police, but in Marquette, some of them officers are really old school, and you've been more like talking to a convict. Some of the police are more convict than the actual prisoners that are in there. But anyway, there was this one guy, officer I was working yard crew, and he was cool. Even after they took tobacco out of the prison, he would slide us cigarettes and stuff. When we come and sign in and sign up for work. But so I kind of see him at the officer station. I crack on him. I say, "Hey man, what's up with the guy, that moved in my room?" He said, so he looks at the book and he says, Cleveland Coleman? I said, "Yeah." He said, "Why? Why you want to know?" I said, "Man, you see, they offer me coffee and just saying, what could I have, whatever I want, I ain't feeling it, man." He said, "Oh, man, Cleveland." He said, "Man, he's old school. He's been down for about 30-something years." And he said, "That's how they did it back in the days. Bunkies come first. Whatever one bunkie had, the other one didn't. The one who had shared whatever they had." So he's old school. And he told me that, he said, "And trust me, you're not as tight." Okay, that's fine with me, brother. Yeah, so when whatever he did, he was old now. I forgot to mention that he was like, he's in 70 something, like 76, and he had come down a lot of time, 40 years, and I believe it wasn't 40 flat. I think it was like a 42 something, or maybe it was a 25 to 40 or something like that. But he was coming to the end of it. I think he had about 3 years left to completely do the whole time that he was sentenced to, and man, so just to show you how wrong a person is by just seeing and judging by what you see with your eyes, anybody else, and I'm so glad that it was such a blessing, man, to have him as my last roommate before I went home. And let me tell you why. Dude, man, this guy, there was not one word that you could ask him in the dictionary. I mean, I was going to say not one word in the dictionary he didn't know. Of course, there might have been a few. But I mean, dude, this guy was a walking dictionary and a thesaurus. Man, he was a writer, a singer. We'd be sitting there watching Jeopardy, and right hand to God, man, there's not one question he could not answer. All of them. I'm like, wow, this dude is amazing, man. Sense of humor. I mean, he was just really a great guy, and he was an author, man. And it was a shame for him to have to do all that time for what he did. Not saying what he did was cool, but in a sense, he was kind of justified by doing it. He was in there for killing 2 white guys. He was from Saginaw. Keep in mind, he was 70, and when he was and that was at the time, that was like 2010, I think it was. So, and he'd been in 40 years, so you do the math, But he killed 2 white guys, and he killed him in such a way that where it was overkill. It was like kill him again and kill him again and kill him again. That's a song, but he went overkill, and but the reason why was because these two guys had raped his sister, man. He raped his sister, and that's just wrong at any day and age. You know, and it's just wrong, period. Whether it's a black woman raping whether a white man raping a black woman or vice versa. But two white guys raping a black woman who was just trying to, go to school and get her life together, and here you are, you're just drunk and whatever, and you see a black woman kind of attractive, and you just rape her. Just two guys, and then just send her on her way like she's just an animal and just a piece of meat that you could just use and just send her on her way. So my man, I don't know exactly what he did. He didn't go into detail, but he went and he took care of his business. I don't know. I don't want to say if they were skinheads or KKK. I don't know what they were. Whatever the hell they were. He was some real fucking jerks, man. I'm sure even back then you could buy a piece of pussy, man, for a little bit of nothing. Go to the bar. You got sick of your little sister and wanted to rape somebody else. No, I'm not being funny. You got some real sick assholes, and that's just in every race. But anyway, I don't want to be too vulgar. It's not my style. But hey, man, that angered me. That angers me, man. I mean, my sister. What? Come on, man. Are you serious, dude? And then. And I think he could have been home like maybe 10 years before I met him, but he kept getting continuances, and I believe it's because he would just go on the parole board and say, "Hey, fuck you, leave me alone." He wanted to kill his number because he wanted to continue. He wanted to do all the time. He wanted to give them all they could get, so when he got out of there, he could do what the fuck he wanted to do: smoke a joint, get drunk, walk around the house naked, whatever the hell he just what he wanted to do. As a matter of fact, he had told me, he said, man, one night we were just up kicking it. And he is just a wealth of wisdom, such a joy to be around, man. He was like, his conversations, our conversations were enriching, man, He's a better person because I met him. His name is Cleveland Coleman. His number was 123-316, and I hope he's still alive. But before I went home, he said, Bunky, you know what I want to do, man? All I want to do is get out of here. And you'd be surprised, his mother and father were still alive. Isn't that something? He said, all I want to do is, when I get out of here, is that I want to cook dinner for my mom and my dad, and I want to get a dog, and I want to play some music and smoke a joint. And just go out on my porch in Saginaw and just enjoy some fresh air, some music, and a joint, and his little dog. Yeah, man, such a cool dude. I wish I could go on and on, man, but nobody wants to sit in front of a screen for this long and listen to a dude talk about some stuff, no matter how interesting it is. But hey, I'm glad. I hope I said something, man, to encourage you. And if something you enjoyed, it's just real life. It's not scripted. It's not a reality show behind the scenes scripted. Say this, do that, act like this. Come on, get out of here. Get out of here. But, hey, Detroit street wisdom. Hey, come on, man. All lives matter. All lives matter, especially yours. Matter to you, man. There's only one person guaranteed to be with you always, and that's you, man. So, hey, start loving you. Or just if you don't know how to, start liking you until you learn to love you. And I'm really talking to myself right now because I see my face right here. Hey, man, start liking yourself till you can start loving yourself. And trust me, once you do that, man, you'll be able to love others, and we all be able to just be in such a much better place. But hey, let's just stop the madness, man. Stop the nonsense. Please, man, just let's get this shit together, man. Let's bring the neighbor back to the hood. When I was young, we lived in the neighborhood. Now it's just the hood. Like, hey, what hood you from? Well, you going back to the hood? Where you at? I'm in the hood. And where's the neighbors, man? Where's the neighbor? Where's the love? But anyway, this is me, man. Eladio Fanfan. Much love. Signing out. And hey, if I'm still on this side of the dirt next time, maybe you'll be hearing from me again, man. Peace and love. Hey, take time to love yourself. Respect everyone, especially yourself. Spread some love, man. And hey, smile sometime. It's free. Plus, it's the easiest way to improve the way you look.